Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. It's Malcolm X's birthday, known as Malcolm X Day. And one of the top stories, a dead black entertainer, Paul Mooney, who yesterday celebrated the 43rd year anniversary of his first big film that he was in, the Buddy Holly story. And of course, Buddy Holly died in the tragic plane crash. We're going to see how all this comes together, along with his role as Negro Damas on Chappelle's show. Again, it is clearly another murder by numbers. And Dave Chappelle, who he's mostly connected to through his role on Chappelle's show, he's 47 years old right now. If you do write out Paul Mooney, if you're new here, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. And again, there's songs out there. Gematria, the killing name. Murder by numbers, where killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. That's what gematria is, turning letters to numbers. But Paul Mooney has gematria 47 forwards, 43 in reverse. He's dead while Dave Chappelle's 47, and one day after the 43-year anniversary of his breakout film. And again, that film he was in, the Buddy Holly story, released May 18th, 78. Turned 43 years old yesterday. And again, the gematria Paul Mooney, which is not his birth name. That's his entertainer name. But that's what he was known by. Paul Mooney, 47 and 43. Dead while Dave Chappelle's 47, right after the 43-year anniversary of the breakout. And in light of him dying today, May 19th, today's the 139th day of the year, which is the 34th prime. And Buddy Holly died on the 34th day of the year of the plane crash in 59. He died February 3rd. That was the 34th day of the year. Remember, the word murder equals 34. So today's the 139th day of the year, the 34th prime. I have a lot on the death of Buddy Holly and those who died with him in that plane crash in my first book, Letters and Numbers. But notice also that Buddy Holly was born September 7th. Tragic day in history. A lot of deaths on that day in history because that day can be written 9-7 or 7-9. Paul Mooney's dead at age 79. But remember, murder is 79, death is 97. And in this case, he's dead 97 days before Dave Chappelle's birthday. He has died 97 days before Dave Chappelle's birthday, and it's so clear that this death has everything to do with Dave Chappelle and the release of his breakout film that he was in. And again, Buddy Holly, born 7-9 or 9-7. He's dead at 79, 97 days before Chappelle's birthday. And we've talked about September 7th and the 7-9, 9-7 rituals that go down on that date all throughout history, from Tupac to Eazy-E to Mac Miller and beyond. But the other thing that jumped out to me is Paul Mooney. Like, this is the TMZ article, and this is how it begins. Paul Mooney, the actor, comedian famous for his roles in the Buddy Holly story and Bamboozled, has died at 79. Now, with regards to the word bamboozled, I used to talk about this all the time with Malcolm X and Barack Obama. Malcolm X liked to use the word bamboozled. He liked to say that. It was a routine word that he used, Malcolm X. And now he's dead on Malcolm X's birthday. And remember, I was making fun of this before any of you guys really knew about me through the online work, but when Obama was running for president in 2018, he was mimicking Malcolm X and saying bamboozled, and this person's bamboozling you. And I was like, God, this is such a tribute to Malcolm X. And some people contend that Barack Obama is really Malcolm X's son, which I don't know if that's true or not, but nothing would surprise me. Again, the only reason you know Malcolm X's name is because he was part of this network. That's why he took the coded name Malcolm X, did the rituals. He died by the numbers as well. And Autobahn Ballroom, just to show you something about that. Autobahn Ballroom, isn't that what it's called where he got killed? Malcolm X. That's definitely the spot. The Autobahn Ballroom. Look at this. Just look at the gematria of it. Gematria of Autobahn Ballroom. You see the 58 in it? I'm just going to type in Freemasonry. It's got that 58, but it's also got that 139. Again, these numbers are related to secret societies. Malcolm X's birthday today, the 139th day of the year, which again is the 34th prime, going back to Buddy Holly killed on the 34th day of the year. And let me see. His birth name, Paul Gladney, has fateful gematria, 118 like death and homicide, 46 like sacrifice. Gladney alone is 121 like blood sacrifice. It's from Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out to Marcus. But the anniversary of the film falling yesterday, it fell yesterday, right? Yesterday was the 44/64 kill date like we talked about. Rennie Stennett, and, it just reminds me of Dick Gregory, black comedian. We've been tracking the same pattern since the death of Dick Gregory. But in a way, I'm almost surprised he didn't die yesterday as a black comedian. Dick Gregory died on a 44/64 date. And ever since his death, we've been circling at least 1 month ahead and saying, okay, let's watch what happens on the next 44/64 date. So this month, May, the 44/64 date was yesterday, May 18th, which was the anniversary of the film. But we've tracked the number of deaths of comedians to the 44/64 pattern. Let me see. Is this not the right post? Hold on. Did I not? I guess I did write it there. I just didn't do the screenshot. Okay. So, again, Dick Gregory died August 19th, 2017, which was a date with 64, 44, 28 numerology, just like May 18th, 2021 was. And kill equals 44, 64, 28. If you're new here, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules numerology. But the thing is, comedian equals 64 and 44 as well. And so he died the day after the 64-44 date, but the anniversary of his film fell on that date. I don't think that's a coincidence either. But again, just that same old pattern. Comedians, the same numbers, these entertainers dying in connection to what was their breakout or the work that they're remembered for. It's just the same thing again and again. And yeah, I mean, it's not hard to see that this is the case. I mean, they smack you in the face with it, especially when you know Gematria, but still, you see the dummies, their minds are so gone that they think this is all a coincidence. And again, you can't fix stupid, and it is a society of very stupid people. That's why they fall for very stupid shit every single day, from 9/11 to coronavirus. You got to be fucking dumb to fall for the government and mainstream narratives that they're feeding you about these major bullshit happenings. Just like every day they feed you bullshit in the same mainstream. And, by the way, Mooney played Sam Cooke in that film, who was murdered by the numbers at age 33. He was accused of raping a white woman. Didn't make any sense. Young, handsome, superstar, a wealthy young black man. I doubt he'd have to be out raping anybody. Just more racial shaming and killing by the numbers. But he did play the part of Sam Cooke, who was murdered by the code. And I haven't covered Sam Cooke's death in a minute, so I want to even go back and look. I forget. He died December 11th, the day leaving 20 days left in the year. Death 20. He died in 64. I know he was 33. I just want to look at his name real quick. So notice how... He was born Samuel Cooke without the E at the end of his surname, but then when they put him in showbiz, they turned it to Sam Cooke with an E. Again, they did that with Marvin Gaye's name too. You see how Samuel Cooke is 34? You see that? Again, he played this person, and he's dead on the 139th day of the year, the 34th prime. So that is not a surprise. Samuel Cooke also had the 56, like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's got that 56. Talked about that a lot at the time of the George Floyd death. We also talked a lot about the 110 at the time of the George Floyd death with Dave Chappelle and the ritual they did, the 846. Dave Chappelle put out the little short called 846 in tribute to George Floyd, which I guess is now void because they said, oh, it wasn't 846, it was 9:29. They added 43 seconds for the George Floyd policeman story. George Floyd police 43, policeman 43. It's all a big sick joke. Civil War 43. But yeah, I need to plug in this part about Sam Cooke. And here, let me just see the way they spelled his artist name. The artist name they did on him was 44 and 28, which are kill numbers. And he was taken by the numbers. But yeah, one day after the anniversary of the breakout film, and while Dave Chappelle's 47, and again, 139th day of the year, 34th prime, like Buddy Holly died on the 34th day of the year, and then, Samuel Cooke, our other 34, who he played in the breakout film. So, R.I.P. to Paul Mooney, funny guy, and again, I guess to live to 79 in show business isn't bad. For more mockery, we talked about this yesterday, the anniversary of Chris Cornell's death. Chris Cornell, the Seattle-based musician born in Seattle who died in Detroit, Music Cities, Motown in Detroit, Seattle, the grunge scene, the rock scene, the home of Jimi Hendrix. But on the 4-year anniversary of Chris Cornell's death in Detroit, the Detroit Tigers throw a no-hitter against the Mariners, and then they write an article about, everyone published the same thing, is how the MLB's on pace for 19 no-hitters this season. That's funny because Seattle equals 19. And, of course, Seattle's been no-hit multiple times. And in the last no-hitter against Seattle, we talked about why Seattle's a participant in so many no-hitters. Here, let's just do it one more time. Seattle equals 107 and 44, right? In the base ciphers. Reverse alphabetic order. When you write out no-hitter, it's 107 and 44. And you see these other values for 109 and 46. This time you have a Michigan team responsible for the no-hitter. Michigan's 46. And the articles written say the Mariners, after getting no-hit again, are now batting 199 for the season. 199 is the 46th prime. But coming back to no-hitter, there was also a 109 value. This guy who threw it this time is Spencer Turnbull. Spencer's got the 109 in it. And he wears the number 56, does Turnbull, and Mariners does have that 56 in it. Big Jesuit number. Remember, we were talking about Chris Cornell and the 56 connection yesterday. But there ends up being a no-hitter between Detroit and Seattle on the anniversary. And again, it just reminds you, the same Jesuits, and I was making the same point, I'm making the same point every day. The Jesuits control this world. They control the sports leagues. They control the entertainers. They control the news. They control the government. The Jesuits are the New World Order. We live in their world, and that should be obvious to everyone. What day is it today? Oh, you just told me what day it is according to the Catholic Church in a calendar that was put out right after they recognized the Jesuits, who came in with all the esoteric knowledge and understanding and synced up an English language and a calendar for their New World Order domination that they've been rolling with since the 16th century. All roads lead to Rome. But again, Chris Cornell, born in Seattle, dead in Detroit, May 18th. This comes on May 18th, 2021. And Detroit won 5-0 in Turnbull's 50th career start. Again, that 50 symbolic, nice round number. And the relatively new stadium that the Mariners play in already has 6 no-hitters thrown there. More than any other ballpark. And again, I've been telling you guys for a while now why Seattle has the most no-hitters, why Seattle has so many no-hitters thrown against them. And they're not always in Seattle's ballpark. They get no-hitters thrown against them when they're at other people's ballparks. But again, why is there the most no-hitters in any ballpark in the league in Seattle? Again, it's Gematria. It's all scripted. So, okay. So yeah, every single no-hitter this season, a clear 46 ritual. We've covered that. And there's just the latest. There is just the latest. So they're saying it's on pace for 19. I mean, normally in a normal baseball year, there's 1 or 2. There's already 5 this year, and the season just began April 1st. The season goes into the fall. I mean, if they did 19, that would be something else. Or if it slows off and there just ends up being 7 for the year, I could see that because there's been just 7s everywhere in sports in 21. So if we got 2 more in the year, I mean, that would be how many there normally are in a season. We'll see. We'll see where they go with this. So Bitcoin, we've always been talking about Bitcoin and how it goes way up and way down on the numbers that connect to Bitcoin and Jesuit. We keep documenting this, right? And the number we talk about the most with Bitcoin is 45. And if you're new here, today, the day it went way down, it went down as far as $30,202 per coin. But it's back up to nearly 40K, but still it was up as high as 62K not long ago. So, I mean, it went down to half its value. And you guys might recall a couple months ago, a clown called in. He only calls in to bash Jews or tell us that we should all buy Bitcoin. He only calls in for one of those two things. His gimmick, but he said Bitcoin will never fall below 50K that day. And I said, well, good luck to you, man. I said, Bitcoin's clearly a Jesuit operation. If they want to take all your money on a certain day, they will. And but again, if that clown calls back in, just realize his opinion is worth 0. And again, just to prove that my opinion is worth everything, because I don't speak in opinions, I speak in facts and evidence. Again, from Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday to this massive collapse today is his 45th day of his age, and his birthday is 4/5. And again, Nakamoto, Bitcoin, and Ritual are 45, which is how we predicted it would be worth 45K on Valentine's Day, the 45th day of the year, exactly 45 weeks after his birthday, or possibly more. And it was worth a little bit more than 45K. It was worth 48K. And had you taken that advice at the time, you would have got a huge boost, because the day we said that, it was worth 33K. So had you put in $100 that day, it would have been worth over $150 by Valentine's Day. But at the same time, I also said that same thing. I'm not going to invest because I'm not going to support cryptocurrency. I see what cryptocurrency is. It is a trick, a trap for humanity to start to trust electronic currency. That's what the New World Order wants us in. That's what I talked about on January 2nd of this year when Bitcoin hit 33K 33 years after the Economist cover that said, get ready for the New World Currency. It will be electronic. They want to be able to track and trace every last thing about us. What's in our body, what's in our wallet, etc. This is all part of the agenda. Every single crypto coin that I'm aware of that gets any traction in the media is all clearly controlled by this Jesuit cabal. And tomorrow, May 20th, will be 45 days after his birthday. Today's his 45th day of his age, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But the trend with the coin for Bitcoin has been to go up, drop way down, climb back up, drop way down, climb back up, drop way down, and realize there are people that are getting massively rich off all of these patterns because they sell high, so they max out their profit, and then they come back and buy low, and then they build it back up, and then they sell high again. And all the people who aren't buying and selling at the right times are losing their wealth. Their wealth is being siphoned by the people who really control these coins. And again, I know a lot of you dummies think that Bitcoin's this foolproof thing that's going to beat the dollar. Wrong. You don't know anything about it. You don't know who's really behind it. You have to go off this Satoshi Nakamoto character, which is a clearly designed character for their planned rituals with the coin. But again, if you want to continue to deny what I'm showing you, then you're an idiot, and I can't help you. And keep believing in your bullshit Bitcoin that's a New World Order trap. Just keep believing in it, dummy. Crypto's not going to be what sets the world free. Not when you live in a world where the powers that shouldn't be control the power grid and they can turn off your crypto whenever they want to. You know? This thing's for suckers. Period. And by the way, also today about this, because it's bad for all of crypto today. Crypto just tanked today across the board. And notice, it was a day where the crypto numbers lined up. Today has 65 and 29 date numerology, plus it's the 139th day of the year, the 34th prime. Crypto, 34, 65, 29. And see, that's the thing that's tricky about gauging this. Sometimes on the days where the numbers line up, it shoots way up, but then other times it falls way down. So again, that's what I'm going to have to keep paying attention to see like if there's a reason like, okay, that's the day where it falls this time, but last time it went up. There's something to this. So But again, 45, just huge movements with Bitcoin in the 45 pattern. And I'm even looking more carefully at this number now. The world's most heavily traded cryptocurrency plunged as low as $30,202. Isn't that nice? 322, knock out the zeros. And remember, 322 is the number of Skull and Bones, who gets their symbolism from the Knights Templar, who are the original bankers, and the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. So, nice little 322 tribute there as well. And speaking of those dirty Jesuits, Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, who did Cyber Polygon, the cyber attack, the simulation that cripples the nation, that was synced up with this Colonial pipeline. Notice today, May 19th, the CEO comes out and says that they paid a $4.4 million ransomware payment to the dark side hackers. But notice the CEO's name, Joseph Blunt, has the same gematria as Cyber Polygon and United States. And again, the cyber attack that cripples the nation. Colonial Pipeline's also 167. Keep in mind, we're 1 week from the total lunar eclipse that we've had circled for a month. Somebody left a comment this morning. Zach, did you know there's going to be a lunar eclipse next week? It's like, oh my God. Can you not leave comments like that for me? I know you're trying to be nice, but it just pisses me off. I mean, how many videos have I done since February on the lunar eclipse coming May 26th? I mean, I know you don't have time to watch any of my video or every video, but God, I've done about 100 since then on the coming total lunar eclipse of May 26th. So to ask me a week before if I know about it, it just shows me you're not paying attention to anything I'm doing. Please don't come ask me questions that will annoy me. So a lot of questions annoy me, I got to be honest. I get annoyed easily at this day and age. Anyway, Colonial Pipeline 265, like 26/5, like the date of the upcoming total lunar eclipse. The moon represents silver, the sun represents gold. There's a total solar eclipse June 10th, not far behind it. But yeah, just all these characters they got. Joseph Blunt, the well-named CEO for the perfectly planned, ritual with the cyber polygon simulation. But here's the other thing. Today's the 139th day of the year, right? When you write out the Bavarian Illuminati, it's 139. Again, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, like America's 139, like Freemasonry's 139. But then a Bavarian Illuminati without the is 127 and 188, and cyber attacks 188, and ransomware is 127, like the attack was May 7th, the 127th day of the year. So again, all number patterns we've covered many times before. And again, it just goes to show all of this stuff is, the simulations are part of, the upcoming plan, and then they got their chosen companies to participate, and their chosen, Joseph Blunts of the world, perfectly named to fit right in with the ritual. It's a joke. And, they paid $4.4 million to Dark Side, which was clearly the Catholic Church and the Jesuits, as we talked about the other week. How much extra profit did they make in this time, the price of fuel being up, and just all we're going along with a bullshit narrative that their fuel supply line is down and cut off and it's not pumping. That's all bullshit, you guys. I bet you that nothing even changed with the Colonial Pipeline. They just deliver less to stations, don't supply who they would normally supply, and just create this whole cooked up narrative. And at the end of the day, they probably made even more in profit because fuel prices went up. Just made people wait in lines and pay longer. They just have to report in the news so that the dummies watch the news and go, "What do you mean? I read the news story. It was in the news that happened." Like, God, these people are fucking dumb, man. Yeah, I know you read it in the news, retard. Have you figured out that the news lies to you every day? It does. It's like, God. Okay, where's the fertilizer machine? Where's the wood chipper? Because I found another person that belongs in there. And, yeah, I mean, you can't fix stupid, you guys, and it's a really stupid society. To still think a word of what's reported in the news is true day after day, I mean, you just got to be retarded. How could you think what was in the news was true after 9/11? Again, you had to be retarded. The news told you they found the terrorist passports, and it's just a coincidence the buildings came down like a demolition, and then it was a man in a cave. I mean, who would believe any of these details? A retard. End of discussion. Same person who'd believe any of these stories. Same person who'd never look into any of these things for themselves. You know, this is what the retard masses do. They don't look into anything for themselves. They don't do any independent research. They just believe what the authorities tell them because they're retards. They're made retarded by the masses. They were poisoned by the masses. They were sent to retard school by the masses. And so was I. But I don't know. I guess I had the skills to see through it, to rise above it. Something very few do. And, by the way, another correct prediction. Again, it's too bad my channels have been deleted because we could just go back and watch all the videos we put out in the early days of the pandemic. You'd see that everything I said was true. Don't live in fear, but expect these things to happen. Expect, them to say that, you're going to need a vaccine, and if you want to go to the stadium or go to the airport, you'll probably end up needing the vaccine. They probably won't make it mandatory. They'll just make it so that you're a social outcast if you don't participate. They'll probably cook up something that we need a new one each year. These are all the things I was saying. So here we are. COVID booster shot will likely be needed within a year or so of vaccination. And this was talked about a week ago as well. They're saying that there'll probably be an annual COVID booster for each flu season. And what was coronavirus originally called when it was coined in 1968? The seasonal flu. Okay. So that emphasized phrase, though, within a year or so equals 88, like decade of vaccines, like COVID booster shot, right? And again, the decade of vaccines fits in because that's what Bill Gates declared in January of 2010. He said he hoped in 10 years that there would be a push to vaccinate all the people of the world and just get way more serious about vaccines to prevent from the next calamity for humanity, which he said would be a deadly virus worse than any war. Okay. Don't forget, Poison has that gematria of 88, or Holy Roman Empire, who's essentially behind all of this. And, yeah, it's also predictable. Today, Philadelphia's in the news, apparently. So, think about this. A bunch of birds reportedly died October 2nd, 2020, right? October 2nd, 2020. If you read the story about Philadelphia, a bunch of birds crashed into buildings on October 2nd, 2020 in Philadelphia, and I didn't hear about this, and you probably didn't hear about this unless you lived in Philadelphia until today. So why would they save this story from October 2nd, 2020 until today? I have a few thoughts on that. Today has 65 date numerology. We call that the Philadelphia number. Philadelphia 65. It was established October 27th, the day leaving 65 days left in the year. Christianity 65. Philadelphia mentioned in the Christian section of the Bible in Revelation 3:7. But then I started thinking, okay, Philadelphia birds makes me think of the football team, the Eagles, right? So I was like, I wonder. Well, and then they said it happened on 10-2. This upcoming season's the 102nd NFL season, right? 102, 10-2. But then from today to the first NFL game of the 102nd season is exactly 113 days later. That's September 9th. And by the way, September 9th, the day of the first game, is the day leaving 113 days left in the year, and in Eagles is 113. So something about this story is connected to the football season. I am quite certain about it. I highly doubt the Eagles will be in the Super Bowl, but they'll probably be they're dimming the lights for the birds. I'm going to have to think about it. They're doing something with this. Again, why would they save a news story from October 2nd for May 19th? It doesn't make any sense. Unless you know gematria and you realize, okay, it's the perfect day to report on Philadelphia. It's synced up with the football season. This is what they're always doing, connecting news and sports and ritual. And by the way, the first team to play this year on that day will be the Eagles' division opponent, Dallas, which is 113 on September 9th, the day leaving 113 days left in the year. And they're the Cowboys, which is 102, like they're opening up the 102nd season. And but yeah, I'm going to have to think more about this. And I'm just throwing that observation out there because perhaps someone will connect it better than I have right now. But there's that. And also, over the weekend, there was a Brazilian young celebrity who died, MC Kevin. He died the day after Kobe was inducted in the Hall of Fame. Couldn't help but notice that his name gematria is the exact same as Kobe Bryant. And he was only 23, and number 23, Michael Jordan, just inducted Kobe into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Michael Jordan's got that 113 in his name in the same cipher. But he died 17 days after his birthday. Kill in NBA 17. Black Mamba 59, the 17th prime. They said he fell from the 11th floor of a hotel. 11th floor is 59. So I don't know enough about this person, but his death was brought up to me. And I said, well, that is weird that he's in the world of entertainment. He dies the day after Kobe goes in the Hall of Fame, and his name's like that. So anyhow, we're going to keep it short and sweet there. I got to hop on the Patreon in just a moment because we got to talk a little more basketball. And we'll leave it there for now. So till next time, Truth Seeker, have a great rest of your day, and be back soon.